Hello, and in today's video we're going to turn this into this. See what I did there? Yes, in today's video we're going to look at the Vida vintage wooden treasure chest. We're going to build it and we're going to give you a full review. Coming up next. So as some of you will know, I'm in the middle of a project where I'm building a steampunk style arcade table, and this is crucial to our plan. This is actually what we're going to house it in. So if you are interested in that project, do subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you'll get notifications when other videos come up. In the meantime, let's get cracking. Okay, so in the box we get some instructions and some packing. Oh, that's lighter than I was expecting. Now, during this unpacking, somehow the instructions vanished. Okay, that's not really very helpful, is it? After what I thought was a thorough look, I could not find them anywhere, so assumed that they weren't in the box. So, lots of screws. It does look fairly straightforward, so I'm going to have a crack at it. So without the instructions, I sort of used my common sense. It appeared that I had to build the sort of four sides of the bottom of the chest and then slot them into what looked like the sort of tea tray underneath. What was confusing is the kit came with washers, and I assumed these washers were to use with the countersunk screws to build the surround, which made no sense at all. Apart from not looking very nice, it meant that the surround didn't slot into the tray because the screws were proud. So I took it upon myself to countersink the bottom screw and not use a washer so that it would sit in. After finishing screwing the surround, I then slotted it into the base, and it was a very tight fit. I noticed another issue, which I think is a design flaw. When you put the sides in, you get this gap. I don't know if you can see that, there's a gap there, and that's because these rivets are pushing the base away. Now that just seems to be a fundamental design issue. I suspect if I just remove those rivets, it'll solve the problem, but you really shouldn't have to do that. But that's what I did do. I used a screwdriver, they popped out quite easily, and then I actually used a stapler just to secure them. And it does seem to have sorted the problem out. Real bad design flaw there though. I mean, I wonder how it happened. I suspect these bits are used on different bits of furniture and they just didn't really think or didn't care. Anyway, we've solved that, so I'm going to screw it back in. So if you've been following my previous videos, you'll know my plan is not to have the hinges on the lid. I think I'm going to screw them on anyway because you can always take them off, and actually it may be practical to play the game with the lid on. Who knows? So while fitting the screws, I hit another frustrating issue. Cheap screws. Losing the head. That's a pain. So I did use some mole grips to try and remove it. It ended up snapping off, but it didn't seem to matter. There's the lid. What we need to do now is see if the Vectrex actually fits in there, because if it doesn't, it's all a waste of time. Well, it does fit. It does fit, but the screen is slightly proud. Not quite sure how I'm going to deal with that. That could be a deal breaker, actually. If I can put some spacing in here, lift this whole thing up a bit, then that'll give me the extra clearance. So that might be the answer. So in the end, those elusive instructions actually did turn up. It was my fault. And reading the instructions, it was clear that those washers actually were only for use underneath the trunk. So these ones on the side there were removed, and then the screws actually sort of countersunk themselves, and it looks much, much nicer. So here it is built. I have to say, overall, I actually quite like it. I'd like to make it work with the Vectrex, but it may be that I just don't have the space for ventilation and for that clearance for the screen. If you've enjoyed this, please do give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to be notified about other videos in the series, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you want to give me a kick up the bum to get this thing done, buy me a coffee, and I will see you on the next video. Take care.